Hello, my name is Nikki and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm setting up my monthly spreads in my hobonichi cousin, as well as the sort of monthly setup that I've been doing in my common planner, and also kind of updating on how I'm using both of them. As you can see right here, I'm using the monthly templates sticker sheets that coffeemonsterzco came up with, and I purchased them and I really like them. And I have to admit, this planner setup really taught me a lot about patience and having more grace with myself, because I messed up so much when it came to putting down stickers and having to pick them back up, and you're gonna see it so many times. And I feel like maybe another person would edit that out, but I decided to leave that in because oh boy, I would have been editing this forever. One, two, I feel like stickers are surprisingly hard to put down, as well as I just put on these press-ons, which are by Glamnetic. I purchased them myself and I like them. The glue is one of the strongest glues I've ever tried for nail glue. They literally are impossible to get off. But my nails have been really weak recently, particularly after I had gotten both builder gel, and then within the same month I got dip powder, and it just destroyed my nail bed. So since then I haven't been able to grow out my nails, but I still like the look of pretty nails, and I find that the glue just doesn't ruin my nails. But that was a tangent. February, for being the shortest month of the year, is also one of my busiest month of the year, in terms of it's the last formal class that I'm taking in medical school. I'm taking neurology that year, and the class is structured so the first week is all lectures, and then the second, third, and fourth week. In the second week we have one exam, in the third week we have two exams, and in the fourth week we have our subject exam. And the crazy thing is that they're all MBME 100 question exams, so I feel like it's gonna be a lot, especially because I haven't had exams in a while. But I'm actually thinking of taking my step 3 before I start residency, just to get it out of the way, because a lot of people have mentioned to me that it becomes kind of a hassle to fit it in when you're in your intern year. And in case you don't know, intern year is apparently where doctors say that they have the worst time of their lives. It's not medical school, it's intern year. And then after that it tends to get better, because you're no longer the grunt, and you also kind of, once you start knowing what you're supposed to do, especially as a resident, you're making decisions that are clinically significant, versus as a med student, you're really not making decisions that are going to influence patients' lives. But either way, I've just heard from multiple sources and people that have graduated already that it's just a lot easier to take it beforehand, because especially I finish classes in March, so I'm going to have April, May, and June to really prepare. But also I feel like it's going to be a pretty good distraction for me. I feel like this past month, January, was very long and very short all at the same time, but also I feel like I got nothing done, especially when it came to my goals and what I was trying to do. One of the weeks I was sick last week, and then also I was taking a class again, so again getting into the rhythm and rotating. And I was in a rotation that we got out pretty late, when at least I got out pretty late, and it was really draining for me, especially because I hadn't had a rotation like that in a while. But other than that tangent, it was mostly have to do with the fact that the match is in March, and it's very nerve-wracking for me. I feel like this is the worst part of medical school that I've been in, because you've spent all these years working hard, and then you interview, and then you're just waiting and seeing what happens, and it's your life is kind of being decided for you, and the cogs feel out of your control. And I don't know, I really wouldn't recommend this to anyone, nor wish it on my worst enemy, because it really does mess with your mind. But I feel like refocusing myself and focusing on doing the things that bring me joy will put me on a better path, and also I think a more optimistic path, because I've been pretty pessimistic and down these last couple of weeks. So I should talk about my spread a little bit. This was a chocolate truffle Valentine spread, and I love the colors. I thought it was so creative, and I'm gonna be honest, I just really like the sticker quality. If you've been seeing the footage, I've been picking up stickers and putting them back down, and it didn't tear the paper. And honestly, even though I like Tombow river paper, It's quite delicate, so I really like it because it also doesn't stick off easily. It's just a perfect sort of sticker paper. I really like this shop, as you can tell. I bought all of the sticker themes for each month as well as the holidays so that I could decorate my agenda that way. Oh my god, I just said agenda. That's such like a elementary school, middle school sort of thing. Other than my classes, I do have a lot of goals when it comes to like my extracurriculars in terms of my health as well as my content, and I'm happy that the rotation that I'm going to be on next, even though it's very intense, it's at home, so I don't have to commute as much as I did for my last rotation, and that kind of goes into my own introversion. I feel like I'm very social, but I do need my alone time and my me time. For example, if I have like class, when I come back from school, I cannot do anything. I need to like decompress. I can't do anything productive because literally I just don't have it in me. And when I get to work from home, I honestly think that's how I was able to read so much and do so many things. That's one of the questions I get the most often from people in my real life and on the internet is, how do you do medical school plus do all of these other things? And it really just had to do with the fact that when I was by myself, I could set my own schedule and I could work on the things when I wanted to work on them, and I didn't feel as much constriction, which I really appreciated, and it really went with my personality and my style of work. But you know, some other people really value things like structure and going someplace and being somewhere physically, but in my case, I did not like having to go somewhere to sit there and not even knowing if I'm going to have a good study time period, if that makes sense. So in the sidebar, I actually ended up organizing it by the tracker, which I'm going to be using for working out in particular because that's one of my main goals. I feel like I've talked about it a lot on this channel, but I just don't feel very strong. I had a lot of moments during the last 4 years where I wasn't really able to work out and really prioritize my health, and so that's been really a big thing. And I think it also has to do with making a promise to yourself and sticking to it, and I think that's what exercising is for me. It gives me something that shows myself that I'm capable of putting myself first. I think for a lot of things, it's more outside pressures that gets me to do things. Actually, there was like this whole thing on TikTok, if you're on TikTok, the king, the soldier, the poet quiz, and I thought I would get the soldier. I ended up getting the king, and I totally related to the description of it because I totally do stuff out of more sort of obligation and because I know it's what I'm supposed to be doing. It was a very long tangent to go on to the fact that like I always saw exercise as something, as one of those things of I have to be doing it because it's good for me or because people expect me to or whatever, but I'm really trying to embrace the fact that I want to do exercise for myself and because it makes me feel good. One of the big events and probably something that's going to take up a lot of my energy next month is the Romantasy Readathon. I'm one of the co-hosts and I'm the co-host of the Monster Lovers team, which has confused people, but like you don't have to read like a monster minotaur romance. Like you can read a vampire romance. That's technically a monster if you think about it. But I'm really excited for it, so if you are interested in joining, I'll leave the information down below, and also join my team so we can get points because it's a point-based system. One of the cutest things that this sticker set has in each of the months is that they have the random weird holidays. So there was like a bubblegum day, a tennis day, an umbrella day, a battery day. Like, what am I supposed to do with a battery day? But still, it's cute. And they also have a bunch of little other stickers like for mail, for credit cards, for appointments, whatever you think that you might need it for. But I thought it was the word in Spanish for it is detallista, but I don't know if there's an English translation. But I guess it would be like a detail-oriented, sort of considerate thing to put into the monthly sticker themes. And I hope as I'm filling this out, it's becoming abundantly clear that I'm having a really busy month this month, even like on Wednesday, this week in particular, where I'm filming this on the 29th. I have so much. I have an exam, I have a presentation, I start a course regarding YouTube by TFD. And if you're into personal finance or if you're looking for more orientation in the personal finance space, I really like that channel. I've been listening to them since college and I just resonate with them, okay? Another thing I'm checking, and it's mostly so that I can organize myself in a weekly matter, is to see my goals for the month. A course that I recently took when it comes to goal setting and goal planning breaks down what you should be doing into actionable steps. So for example, let's say you want to reconnect with old friends, you would go ahead and schedule into your planner or write it in your to-do list that each week you have to call another friend that you haven't spoken to in a long time. So like my takeaway message from that was, if I want to have more connection with my loved ones, I have to break it down into measurable steps that I can look back and be like, okay, this is exactly what I did. Okay, so I finished with my hobonichi cousin, and now I'm going into my common planner. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't used it as much as I thought I would, but I did end up doing all of the goals in terms of books that I had. So books that I told myself I would read, I did read, but I really want to use this book this month as a Commonplace book. So that means it's a place to collect things, and it could be quotes, it could be energies, I don't really know, it could be like ticket stubs, but I really want to use it as that place because I've been using my cousin daily pages as journal pages. And I just have a lot going on in my life, and I find it very therapeutic to journal and write things down and not think too hard about things. So anyways, the quote that I picked for the month of February, I'm actually using the Sterling Ink subscription plan that I got. This is the sample, so it's like the one that's $20 if I'm not mistaken. You do have to pay shipping for this one. If you get the one that has like everything, then it's less, but I wanted to know if I'd actually use it. The stickers are absolutely stunning. They're like, half of them are foiled. They are vinyls that I ended up sticking on my hobonichi cousin. It's very pretty, but I'm actually reading All About Love by Bell Hooks. I started that last night and I adore the book so far. It is a very personal reflection on love and the meaning of love and the meaning that we've assigned love. I think that it should be required reading. I feel like I've seen so many people recommend this book and I hadn't picked it up, mostly because I just hadn't felt inclined to, but I guess it being February and me going through my moods, I was like, let me pick this book up and see if I can learn anything new. So I wanted to really center myself upon the meaning that Bell Hooks gives to love, about how it's not a feeling, it is a verb, it is an action, it is something you choose, and it's made up of a lot of different ingredients that combine to make this thing we call love and we understand as love. The book can be a hard read at times because it does ask you to connect to the versions of yourself that don't feel loved, basically, that are unloved and unlovable, and what that means to you, and the sort of love that you've accepted in the past that isn't acceptable and that you don't want to have again, or that really wasn't love, because as Bell Hooks puts it, there is no love if there's abuse, and that can come from your family, that can come from past relationships, but it really asks you to examine that and relearn what it means to love, as well as have conversations about love. And I made so many mistakes with this spread. I'm just like warning you, when I started writing TBR, which is what I'm trying to do now, I totally messed up completely and it smeared everywhere and it looked so ugly, so I ended up whiting it out. If you're gonna be like into the journal community thing, get yourself a good whiteout. I really like the one that I use here. The only thing I don't like is that if you use any sort of micron marker, it's gonna lift completely, but you can always make it better. So I ended up whiting it out, and then after I whited it out, I went ahead and put the sticker covering it, and I thought like I covered it up pretty well and it looked nice. So you know what, a win is a win, you can't go back. But these stickers were honestly so pretty, and I love the freebies. The ones I used for this spread were actually the freebies for this month. I don't know if any of the subscription packs are left, but they do have some of the monthly ones and the monthly themes there. And I didn't fill it out yet because I haven't edited my TBR video, and I think I kind of overdid myself. And I also want to do the blackathon, which each year I really want to do it and then I don't end up doing it. So I want to participate, but it's also in this month of the monster romance, and this the spread that I'm setting up here is a romantasy readathon spread where I'm going to log the books that I read for my prompt, and I also messed up here and I ended up having to use whiteout like so much whiteout. It was horrible. Oh my god, what was it? And then the whiteout drags the blue because I'm too impatient and I don't wait for it to dry. It was a disaster. You could see it just going, it just gets worse, you know? Like I'm watching it as I'm speaking and it looks just so bad. But, you know, I saved it. I thought like at the end it looked nice, and it's not about the process in this case. It's about the journey. Every day I practice like my lettering, and I'm not saying it's great, but like it's fine. I think the one thing I don't like about this paper is that it takes a while to dry, or my pens are just really inky. As a left-handed person, that's always a concern that you have. And I'm sorry at this moment that the book is kind of off the frame, but I move it right back where it's supposed to. And this is actually my favorite spread this month. Because I'm really excited. I'm a big Star Wars fan, at least like that's what I say, but I'm actually a fake fan because I'm not finished with the Clone Wars, and that's what I wanted to do this month with the Mandalorian coming out next month. And by the way, Pedro Pascal and that edit with the cowboy thing, I'll insert it right here.
How would you like to ride home on a real cowboy? I got a 6-pack of cold ones all night, so my room is out all night, so you can scream my name as loud as you need to, sugar.
It has me in a chokehold, but that's not the point. The point is, it's coming out next month. I saw the trailer and it seems like there's a lot of references to Mandalore, and everyone has told me, as in everyone, I just mean my dad, who is a super big Star Wars fan, that Mandalore is kind of talked about in both Clone Wars and Rebels, and that sort of lore is explored there. So I don't want to go in not knowing as much as everyone else. And I've also I'm almost done with it. I finished like what's supposed to be the bad parts. I think that it just caught me off guard and I didn't continue it, but I'm only missing a couple episodes in season 4, and then I'm missing season 5, season 6, and season 7, as well as I really want to read The Dark Disciple, which is Ventress's book. It is one of the canon books, and I love Ventress. I think she's one of the coolest characters that I've seen so far, and I can't wait to see more of her if she comes out more in the series. But yeah, I really need to finish it, as well as The Bad Batch, which I haven't gotten to because I haven't finished the animated universe. And honestly, Dave Filoni is just like really amazing, and he really just transformed the Star Wars universe as a whole. I was hoping by making this bread I would actually finish it and just be done with it. And also, everyone just says it's so good, but it just makes me so sad. And I think that's one of the reasons I don't finish it, because it's so sad. This is such a tragic story. All of Star Wars is so sad if you really think about it. I just finished Andor as well, and I have to say I really, really liked it. I love Diego Luna's character, and it was slow, I would say, but I really think if you haven't watched it, stick by it and see if you end up liking it, because it really dives deep into why the Resistance came to be and the hardships that everyone underneath the Empire and like any sort of authoritarian regime has to go through. It was really good. Horrible tangent because I'm now distracted, but the Micron pen back, like the one that's the cap cover, is not straight on the pen, and it just is really distracting, so I'm sorry if you're seeing that and you're confused. I will link the ultimate episode list that I'm using because I got one that's like in chronological order, and it also marks the most important episodes that really changed the Star Wars canon and changed the whole game and big discoveries and stuff like that. So I'll link it down below. I think it's a Reddit post someone made. Very, very detailed. Star Wars fans really are very dedicated people. And then I got really confused because I couldn't find anything under season 6 and in that sort of chronological order list. But then I realized it was because it was already in chronological order. So between season 6 and 7 is when you're supposed to read The Dark Disciple. And there's a bunch of other comics and books, especially Legends, that you can get into. I don't know if I'll get into the Legends because it's just a lot, but I definitely am going to be ordering Dark Disciple soon. But yeah, that was my setup. I hope you enjoyed this. If you made it to this part, go ahead and leave me a cowboy emoji to let me know that you have appreciated Pedro Pascal Daddy-o, and I'll see you next time. Bye!